Mm-hmm. So you guys are just like State Farm, right? So that's a no-go.
Stop living on a prayer and get State Farm.
Zepbound. Watch this.
Watch this.
Zepbound is the first and only prescription medicine for moderate to severe obstructive sleep apnea, or OSA, in adults with obesity. A treatment that helps reduce breathing interruptions during sleep. After just a year, many taking it had no OSA symptoms. Don't share needles or pens, or reuse needles. Don't take if allergic to it, or if you or someone in your family had MTC or MEN2. Tell your doctor if you get a lump or swelling in your neck. Stop Zepbound and call your doctor if you have severe stomach pain or a serious allergic reaction. Severe side effects may include inflamed pancreas or gallbladder problems. Tell your doctor if you experience vision changes before scheduled procedures with anesthesia. If you're nursing, pregnant, plan to be, or taking birth control pills. Taking Zepbound with a sulfonylurea or insulin may cause low blood sugar. Side effects include nausea, diarrhea, and vomiting, which can cause dehydration and worsen kidney problems. Ask your doctor about Zepbound, a game-changing treatment for OSA. Zepbound. Watch this.
Watch this. This is the new 2026 Dodge Charger 6-pack, and it doesn't suck. Most people hate the new Charger because, well, they killed off the old one that everyone loved, and it started as only an electric car, and there's no four-door version, but they're fixing all of that stuff, starting with a gas engine in this car. And today I'm going to review the new gas-powered Dodge Charger and show you all of its quirks and features. Before we get started, are you ready for your next cool car? Sell your enthusiast car on Cars and Bids. Trading in your car to dealers means you aren't getting market value for your car, leaving you with...
Hello? They're pissed about the tariff, huh? Yeah, we're sticking with 20% on the European Union. Okay, fine. Slovenia can have a carve-out for the export of wives. McDonald Island has no people. It's just penguins, huh? Well, what are the penguins charging us? Okay, tell the penguins to call Marco. Hello? Yeah, 17% for the Israelis. Huh? Hey, is that anti-Semitic?
lot. Thank you. Yes. Well, yeah. You guys sound like me when I left the lawyer's office when the divorce went final. It's my first time publicly I'm allowed to announce the divorce is final. So now I can kind of talk about everything, you know? Because before I had to be very careful. My lawyer would always be like, you know, Gary, I don't want you saying that. I don't want you saying that. I was like, all right, I'll fall back. But now I can really talk about everything, you know, because it's funny. Like, I remember when my divorce hit TMZ and everybody thinks you're supposed to be depressed and everything. Then the next morning I woke up, I go to Instagram, man, my DMs was popping. But I didn't have a bunch of Instagram models hit me up. I had a bunch of fucking aunties. Everybody hit me up. You looking for a cougar? You single now? You looking for a cougar? I'm like, I'm in my 40s. That means a cougar's pushing 70. What the fuck am I doing that? Just shows up at the hotel. How you doing? Do with me what you will. You can't get pregnant no more. Saying weird shit in the bedroom. Oh my God, Gary. You remind me of my first husband, God rest his soul. Here's the thing about the funny thing being a public figure and having your divorce play out on social media. It's funny because I think when you don't know somebody, but you follow them on social media, I think the two things that always catches your eye, especially me, is one, a divorce. You wonder what happened, what went wrong. The other one that gets me is like when somebody dies unexpectedly and you see this random rest in peace post, but they don't say how they died. And that's really all you want to know. And they'll be like, we need prayers for the family. And you'll be like, but how'd he die though? So you start reading all the comments, nobody's saying shit, just a bunch of prayer hands. You start Googling the name, nothing pops up. And then one person will step up and make the comment we all wanted to make. They'll actually type it out. Well, what happened? And they get killed. Motherfucker, you can't say that shit. That's disrespectful to the fact.
When your credit card perks are scattered on different apps, keeping track of them can feel like a chore. Get a cleaner view.
Welcome back to Talk with Flea. Listen, man, I got some nostalgia on the show today. Yeah, nigga from my era. Not only a nigga from my era, a thorough nigga from my era, not just in the street, music, politics, business, real estate, legislation. Listen, man, we got my brother on the show, and we're going to get into it all. Sean Poe. Sean, what up, baby? What's good?
What's going on?
How you doing?
I'm great, man.
I'm doing real good. Yo, listen, man, it's probably been gotta be at least, damn, we getting old, 26 years, 27 years, because I remember.
You talking about 1998?
Right, so because a lot of people don't know.
What, 28 years is what, 2025?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Since I've seen you.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people probably don't know. I remember, and I'm going to give this for the audience that's watching, is that when Sean was coming out, it was like really a big bidding war. And maybe not for you, maybe you could testify to this. I just remember I was signed with Entertainment, and Bad Boy wanted you, and they was like, yo, it's this nigga that sound like big. And you got to think about the people I'm around, Jacob York, all of Bed-Stuy, Biggie's friends and everybody else. And they was just so amazed, like, yo, this nigga's nice, man. This nigga sound like big. And we got to get this nigga. And now, mind you, giving you my point of view, I'm the only artist over this. So I'm like, hold the fuck on. We can't just be getting everybody up here. I'm a little jealous now. Because now I see where this looking like it's turning into an old Brooklyn thing if they had ended up doing a deal with you. So it's been a minute, and I never shared that with you because I remember a lot of people wanted to sign Sean because he was really, really hot in the streets.
Un was definitely one of those people. I remember going to the Hip Factory. He used to have the Hip Factory locked out. Y'all used to have it locked out all the time.
Yeah.
And I remember going up there, spitting for him. But, you know, he hit me with the Mind Jedi, like, you know, yeah, well, I don't know. Because before the bidding war really started out, it was a slow season. Like, it was a strike when I first got with my guy Manny, Monty Haley, and Don Poole, you know, Brooklyn Chop House. I got with them in like August 97. But then it was like a stretch, like a 6-month stretch where everybody was like, yeah, he hot. But nothing was happening. And Un was one of those meetings where he was like, yeah, you know, you hot, but and it wasn't until I met with Chris Lighty. Chris Lighty is the one, God bless his soul, that really set it off. When I went to rap for him, in Barrack Street, Def Jam Barrack Street. And once I rapped for him, I think that's when Swiss Beats just came out. He put the Swiss Beats DAT tape. You remember these youngins, these Gen Zs don't know what a DAT tape is, but he put the DAT
trust me,
tape.
I listen, Sean, I didn't have a DJ. My first 2 years of shows was all off DAT.
Yeah.
I had to take a DAT and a backup DAT, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
So Lighty put in the DAT tape, and you know, Swiss had the smoke, and you know, I just went in and Lighty lost it. You know, he lost it. He took me into Leo's office, and that was it. You know, that's what really set it off. You know, and then everybody wanted to sign Sean. But obviously, you know, I always felt a way about the comparisons because I was just being me, right? You know, when you listen to me now, 25 years later, I still, you know, got the baritone, and it's just me. But obviously, everybody that come out, they got to put them with someone. You know, when Kobe come out, they put him to Jordan. You know, when, you know, other artists come out, they're like, well, you know, he remind me of this person, or he remind me of that person. So I work very hard to separate myself and to not be compared with anybody, and to try to establish myself, not taking anything away from, you know, being compared to the greatest of all time, but that goes both ways, right? I prefer to be compared as a great, but not to be compared for, well, you know, he sounds like, or his style is like. I really worked hard to try to distinguish myself. And if you listen to the Shine album, you could tell that, you know, that's all Shine. And definitely on the Godfather Buried Alive album, you know, I really think I moved totally into my own zone, different flows every song, and, you know, no flow sounding like any other rapper. You know, not just the greatest rapper, but nobody. So I worked really hard for that.
Yeah, 100%, because that was going to be one of my questions, and you kind of answered it, but I would like a yes and no. Could you answer it, but did it irk you to be compared to Big? Because you like, I get what you're saying. Now listen, same thing for me, Sean. Listen, you talk about and I had to hear Biggie every day. I don't even have to tone this him enough, but I had to listen, you know, this is the way Big was saying, this is the way Big was saying. And he would have it, and I'm like, I can be Cam. That's all I can be is Cam. Did it irk you or bother you when people would compare you to Big?
Well, what it did was it inspired me. It inspired me to, as I said, to distinguish myself. I never forget my guy Nigel Talley. You know, I met him through Mace.
Shout out to Nige.
Yeah, I met Nige and Tone, Big Tone.
Yeah, shout out to Tony. Yeah, Tony and Nige, absolutely.
Yeah, our BX guys. So I met him on Mace tour bus, or I think it was a No Way Out tour bus, and he became one of my day one guys. And he used to be in the studio telling me, you know, you from Brooklyn, you from the streets, like, you shine, like, you know, let them, they got to know Shine, like, you know, this is not about anybody else. And that was important to me, because they wasn't saying like, oh, he's like Big because he's great, or he's like Big because, you know, of his skill set. it was the baritone. And getting in the studio and learning the studio and becoming free to be yourself, it's amazing. It's a real navigation. Some people get it off the rip. You know, it took the criticisms and it took the crucifixion. I feel like I was being crucified by some people because some people took it the other way. It was like, who's this guy? You know, God bless the dead, B.I.G. just passed away. And you know, at the time, you know, Puff didn't have the best reputation. So it's like, you know, what is he trying to do here? You know, is he trying to remake? Is he trying to, you know, bring B.I. back? So there was a lot of that, you know, it was real nasty. So for me, what it did for me is the same thing as what I'm going through now with my political opponents.
So listen, Sean, we know after you did your time for the case that you had, we'll talk about some of that later. We're not going to get into a bunch of messy shit. We'd rather talk about positive shit, but we will visit that. People who know you and who followed your journey, and for those who didn't follow your journey, we know that you got extradited to Belize. And since then, you became exactly what when you got there? Because, you know, some people say prime minister. They don't know if it's Congress. They don't know if you're president. It's a lot of confusion, but they know Brooklyn Sean. Sean got deported, not extradited, pardon me, I used the wrong word, deported to Belize. You got there, it seemed like you were about to start rapping when you got there, because I was looking at some shit when you was like on a bike on a dirt road and you was spinning. I'm like, oh, this might get dangerous. This nigga, he sound better than when he went to jail. Could you explain your journey from the time you got deported from America and then where you're at now as far as the country Belize is concerned?
Yeah, so when I got deported, definitely I had all intentions of returning to the music industry, but not being in the States definitely devastated that. And I think, you know, it's interesting. Now I have an extraordinary ability visa, which is, you know, for people with, you know, Grammy nominations and people that have, you know, critical acclaim internationally. And while I had that back then, I just didn't have the courage or the confidence to navigate those waters. I'm so traumatized and so devastated just coming out of being held in captivity. I didn't want to go through the trauma of being rejected again and not being able to get back. So, you know, I was working on some music. I got to give kudos to my guy, Hip Hop. You know, Hip Hop was one of the first people to come down there. Hip Hop, you know, he was A&R for Rockefeller. And he was one of the first people to come down there because him and G came to see me when I was
G. Robeson,
when I was incarcerated. They wanted to sign me. So the bidding war that we had initially, we had an even greater bidding war when I was up top. It was Dr. Dre, Jay-Z coming to Rikers Island in the Maybach. When the Maybach first came out, everybody wanted to sign me. But so G. Robeson and Hip Hop came all the way to Clinton Denimora to sign me. I ended up going with Kevin Lyles and Def Jam. But we kept that relationship. So when I got out, you know, Hip Hop came to Belize. I had, you know, leased out this penthouse and he built a studio there and he just camped out. But the problem was I lost my voice. While I never lost my pen game and, you know, all of the analogies and double and triple entendres, my voice, it just wasn't there. That confidence, that conviction, that passion, it wasn't there. I was beaten. I was broken. You know, I was devastated. I didn't even know it. It's like coming from Vietnam, coming from Iraq, coming from war, and you shot, but you're numb with adrenaline, and all you know to do is get to safety. And until you get to safety, then you realize that you're hit. And I think that's what happened to me when I came out. And I think another thing is I came out with a lot of negativity. When I came out, I was going at 50. I was going at Diddy. I was going at Drake. I came out on a real Tupac fashion Tupac-esque approach, and I think that was dangerous. And I think so. God, I'm a very spiritual person, not religious. I think the Creator, he wasn't happy with that, because I spent 10 years on a spiritual journey, 10 years, practicing Judaism, 10 years preparing for liberation, and then I came out with a negative energy that could jeopardize my freedom all over again. And so, I think that had a lot to do with my voice not being strong and me not being, Sean Poe that everybody knew and loved. And then, the record with DJ Khaled, respect to him, this was before he was flying the private planes. He was getting ready to take, he was getting ready to take a boat to Belize. He was the president of Def Jam at the time. This is before, I think he was the president of Def Jam, before Jay-Z was the president of Def Jam, or after Jay-Z left. This is after Jay-Z left Def Jam. He became the president of Def Jam. And he wanted to sign me as well. And so as soon as I signed, he was like, listen, I'm getting on a boat. I need you to do this record. Record was with, I believe, Movado. And then the record leaked, but then I didn't sound like Pope. So when I got to Belize, I lost my voice. I had to deal with Def Jam, multi-million-dollar deal with Def Jam. I went to Mexico City to shoot one of the videos for the album that was gonna come out. And I still practice Judaism, still an Israelite. So every year while incarcerated, I would always say next year in Jerusalem, next year in Jerusalem. So I was out, it was Rosh Hashanah. We just had Rosh Hashanah this week. I still observe it. So when I was in Mexico, I said, you know what? Let me take a quick trip to Jerusalem. I've been incarcerated 10 years. I used to always say every year, next year in Jerusalem, let me go to Jerusalem. Then I'll come back. I never came back. That's when I went down there. You saw me with the side curls and the hat. And I just went off on a spiritual journey. I liken it to Malcolm X. I liken it, to there's a guy named Bunny Weller that was Bob Marley's right hand. Even Bob Marley himself, because he went from wearing suits like me, to becoming a Rasta. So I think we all go through that phase. But for me, what a lot of people don't understand is mental health and being emotionally sound was more important for me than anything. Because being held in captivity for 10 years for something that you didn't do, your co-defendant snitching on you, losing everything, that's enough to drive someone insane. So when I came out, holding on to my spirituality was important. So long story short, I went to Israel 2 years. I learned and studied what I needed to. I came to the conclusion that, religion is a farce for the most part, because you have people that pretend to be religious, look religious, dress religious, speak religious, but they're the most evil people in the world. And that counts for Muslims, Jews, Christians, anybody could fall into that category. I'm not targeting anyone. But what I realize is I don't need to be religious. I don't need to have one of these garbs. I don't need to look the part. What's the most important thing is to have integrity, which I always had, to be honest, to have compassion, to be tolerant, to just be a stand-up individual. That's my religion. Keep your word, tolerate people, help people, lift people up, empower people. That's my religion. And I didn't need anything else, because I found myself very isolated as an African-American, Caribbean. I found myself, alone. A lot of people had all types of questions. And I'm like, man, listen, I left a multi-million-dollar deal to come down here to be closer to God. And you asking me a million questions. We're supposed to be one people, regardless of race, trying to be closer to the Most High. So I got up out of there. I still, visit, but I do it on my own. Like, I'm not there for the religious people. I'm not there for the non-religious people. That's one of the holiest places, in my opinion, the holiest place in the world for all people, Christian, Muslim, Jews. And so I still stay connected to it. When I went back to Belize, after I spent a little time in Paris, I was in Paris, and what was happening in Paris, I was...
So not to cut you off, just so we're following, making sure we're following.
2010, I went to Israel
Okay.
literally just like for the week and never came back. And so from 2009 to like 2010 to 2012, I was in Israel. Then I went over to Paris when I was transitioning from, that ultra religious lifestyle to, secular, regular, back to Sean Paul. But what was happening in Paris is, I was trying to get back into the music, but I still, the fire just wasn't there, or I had the fire, but it wasn't lighting it up, right? So Drake would come to Paris, invite me to the show. I'd be in the room, I'd be backstage, and nobody would ever say, listen, why don't you sign the OVO? Hov would come to Paris, invite me to Bercy, he'd take me to dinner, everything. And he wouldn't say, well, listen, why don't you sign the Rock Nation? And I kind of took that as a sign, like, man, what's happening? Like, what am I doing? And I have a very close friend, he's the owner of American Eagle, and he was the first person to keep it as the Gen Z says, a thou wow. I don't know if they still say that. Keep it a hundo.
They still say that. They still say that, Taylor. I got a Gen Z. She said, "Yes, you gotta have nine." Yeah, they still say that.
Keep it a hundo with me. He was the first person to say, "Listen, why don't you think of life outside of Shine, the rapper? Let's go into business. Let's be an entrepreneur. Let's think of something you want to do, and I'll support you." And I was like, I was offended. I was like, can't be serious. Like, I'm shy. Like, I'll always be shy. But he was right. He was right. Like, it wasn't working out. Or at least not the way that I thought it should, at the pace it should. And, but I resisted. But then when I went to Belize, I went to my mom's 60th birthday party. And a lot of friends of the family and different people, because I would always go visit, where I was born, which is a very impoverished community, and I would see how they're living and they're complaining and they're saying, the politicians are worthless, all they do is sell us dreams, they get elected and they turn their back. And then a lot of my colleagues and friends kept saying, listen, why don't you come back to Belize and serve your people? World vision and understanding, and you don't need politics. We need people that aren't doing this for a title, that aren't doing this for notoriety. You're already famous. You already have
power on. Power on. Bluetooth pairing. Bluetooth connected.
A lot of the older heads, and I'll get into that if we have time a little bit later, maybe the next time I come, because I just went through like a civil war in my political party. And tried to overthrow me because of exactly what I came to do, which was create a new system of political leaders that were there to serve their people and not enrich themselves and not use the taxpayer dollars to take care of their family, friends, and cronies. And when the old heads saw that, they was like, nah, we can't. That's a dub. We can't do that. But me, I'm me, so I'm not gonna go along to get along. I didn't do that when I faced 25 years. I didn't do that when they snitched on me. I always put my integrity, my character, and my dignity first. So I fought the old heads, and they tried to overthrow me. It was bloody, and that's how I lost my seat, et cetera, et cetera. But so that's how I got into politics, because I went back down there to serve, and so that was 2000, I'd say 14 or 13, about 12.
More than a month in
And so I got elected in 2020. So people saw when I got elected. People didn't realize that I've been working since 2013.
Camping is such an adventure. I love how there's a surprise around every corner. Except when I'm surprised with a sudden allergy attack. Luckily, I've got Claritin D to attack back. And I didn't even need a prescription for this.
Get fast, powerful relief from your worst symptoms, like nasal congestion. It's so fast, it starts working in as little as 30 minutes.
Cash App has very much helped me save my money. So when I need it, it's just there.
Use as directed.
Right? So
Why do I take Degrisso? Degrisso, I can make pancakes. Degrisso, I can share my handiwork. Degrisso, I can play dress up. Degrisso is a once daily pill that's a targeted therapy approved for adults with non-small cell lung cancer and certain EGFR mutations when lung cancer has spread to other parts of the body. Degrisso helps patients live longer. Serious side effects that may lead to death include severe lung.
At NVIDIA's headquarters, the chips that propelled the company to a $2 trillion valuation were used in custom software that helped design this office.
We're using a lot of their visualization tools to help optimize a day like that's coming in here.
We got to test out our technology on our own project.
And beyond powering the program that visualized the office, NVIDIA's chips also served as the inspiration for these futuristic buildings.
These projects are all about the soul of NVIDIA.
So what does the soul of one of the most sought-after places to work look like? And how does NVIDIA's space fuel the work powering the AI revolution? I took a tour and chased down a robot to find out. On NVIDIA's campus in Santa Clara, California, these two buildings are the focus. The 500,000 square foot Endeavor and the 750,000 square foot Voyager. Yes, those are Star Trek references. An outdoor park connects these two buildings.
Our triangle motif here is really a reflection of the origins of the company. 3D graphics were based originally on drawing triangles.
The triangle is everywhere, from windows to walkways to this corrugated structure.
This is the heart. The heart contains many of our most active spaces: reception, conference rooms, coffee breaks.
The heart sits at the center of Endeavor, which was the first of the two new buildings to open on campus. In the middle of Voyager, there's this.
We call it the mountain. And in fact, what we did was take that heart and spread it open across the surface of that mountain.
Got it. The effect of this is that Endeavor feels inwardly focused, whereas Voyager is wide open.
It's like a high-rise building on 3.5 floors.
But NVIDIA's goals for the project, to foster collaboration and maximize efficiency for its employees, called NVIDIANs, bring shared purpose to these two buildings.
The CEO, Jensen, was very, very involved personally with the design here. For them, chip design, it's all about connections. How do you move information around on a silicon wafer? What they do is they design the connections first.
In Voyager and Endeavor, there are workspaces for roughly 5,000 NVIDIANs total. The project's leaders decided the best layout for connecting workers was an open office.
We always talked about the ideal way of getting everybody to collaborate is to get everybody in one room.
But as anyone who's worked in a big open room knows, noise can be a problem.
I mean, if you're in one room with 3,500 people, that can be incredibly noisy.
Yeah.
So the shaping of the roof helps mitigate the sound. The whole thing is faceted. So the sound, as it reflects, it's not reflecting back to you, it's reflecting elsewhere. And behind that, there's acoustical insulation there. So the sound goes and gets absorbed by the roof.
NVIDIA said findings in this MIT study helped motivate it to switch from the cubicle-filled spaces in its older offices to what we see in these newer buildings.
There's a visual connection, even if there's not an audio connection. And that allows that quicker iteration, allows those deeper relationships that are important to building very complex products.
So you're saying it's not just about giving employees an opportunity to connect and socialize, but you're saying the actual work that they then do together is better.
Absolutely, yes.
And that's just by being able to see one another.
It starts with that.
And unless you never leave a desk, it would be tough to avoid running into other NVIDIANs here, especially on the stairs.
So we see along the mountain are these cabins, and at the very top, that's the bar.
It's a little bit of a metaphor for the workday. Your first coffee, your second coffee, and now you can have a drink. In Voyager alone, there are 19 staircases, some blazing trails up the mountain.
We have way more stairs than you need technically to exit. The elevators are pretty tucked away. They're there.
Yeah.
You know, people do need elevators, but it's not front and center. And that's something I think that's pretty unique to NVIDIA.
But NVIDIA's paths through the office aren't meandering. The hallways that cut through the heart, for example, provide shortcuts across Endeavor. And this extends outside too.
When we built the second part of this campus, which is Voyager, and the park in between, we connected them at both levels so that the trip between the two is as short as possible.
How short? We tested it.
How long do you think it's going to take us to get from here to Voyager?
Shouldn't take more than 2 minutes.
Let's start the timer and go. How did we do? Timer stops. We were so close. 2:30.
2:30.
2:30. Maybe we were a little leisurely. Maybe we were looking at the trees, but 2:30.
But getting to meetings and coworkers is only part of optimizing efficiency. NVIDIA wanted to create the ideal working conditions, and this is where NVIDIA's tech came in.
One of the key principles that NVIDIA uses as a company is simulation. We want to be able to simulate a world before we build it.
We as architects, you probably see a lot of renderings that we create, but those renderings, no matter how photoreal they are, it's still kind of an illustration of what we think the reality is going to be.
So NVIDIA put its chips to work, creating a program that could, for example, simulate how sun would pass through the skylights.
If I showed you those images that we had simulated of a space like this, it looks almost identical to what came out, right, in terms of what the feeling of this daylight is.
In total, there are 511 triangular skylights dotting the ceilings of the two buildings. But not every area is meant to get light. The center of the mountain is shielded from daylight because
here on this floor we have large labs. In the past, most of our lab spaces were carved out of a traditional office building. So it was a conference room turned into a lab or a janitor's closet.
NVIDIA has 42,000 square feet of lab space in Voyager alone. That's more than 15% of the space in the building. Balancing that tech in both buildings is a lot of green. There's this 80-foot living wall in Endeavor and more than 14,000 plants in Voyager.
You enter NVIDIA's headquarters, a company known for GPUs and powering AI, and the first thing you see is a huge plant wall.
Yeah. It becomes a relic in some ways if they put their technology up.
And these buildings, which are the first ones the 30-year-old company has ever owned, suggest NVIDIA doesn't plan on becoming a relic either.
You see Apple, Google, Meta, now this, right? They're really designing buildings for themselves. They've matured to a point where, yeah, they're like a multi-trillion-dollar company. They need spaces like this that really kind of can take them to the next level.
NVIDIA has room to grow. It could even add a third spaceship.
Would you consider using AI in some way? Could it possibly play a role in a future space?
AI undoubtedly will be part of the construction of that next building. It's an assistant. It extends our reach.
I can only imagine, what the possibilities are if we start design again today. And I would hazard to guess with NVIDIA, it would be something we hadn't even thought about.
This is the kind of casual connection that all the designers are hoping for.
Board governance is evolving, and so are the tools behind it. With AI-powered workflows and NASDAQ Board Vantage, board members gain faster insights and better preparation, while governance teams stream.
At NVIDIA's headquarters, the chips that propelled the company to a $2 trillion valuation were used in custom software that helped design this office.
We're using a lot of their visualization tools to help optimize the daylight that's coming in here.
We got to test out our technology on our own project.
And beyond powering the program that visualized the office, NVIDIA's chips also served as the inspiration for these futuristic buildings.
these projects are all about the soul of NVIDIA.
So what does the soul of one of the most sought after places to work look like? And how does NVIDIA's space fuel the work powering the AI revolution? I took a tour and chased down a robot to find out. On NVIDIA's campus in Santa Clara, California, these two buildings are the focus. The 500,000 square foot Endeavor and the 750,000 square foot Voyager. Yes, those are Star.
In 2020, and then shortly after that, the leader of the party, of the United Democratic Party, which criminal accusations, he was my friends, that to ever make it to the House of Prime Minister believes, because that was his thing. I always tell people, the United Democratic, that I signed a deal with Warner Music Group with my brother Steve-O. I did a joint venture through Defiant Warner Music Group for 3 albums, and then we're gonna do most importantly, the 25th anniversary tour. So I'm going to.
So hold on. You dropping
About you, man, like, you know, since you've been signed Bad Boy, you know, I know a lot of people think that you sound like Meg, you know. I know you probably answered that question a million times, but tell the viewers, like, that's you, you know.
I mean, you tell them. You sitting here talking to me. You understand?
That's Gangsta Joint is bananas.
Oh, thank God, man. Thank God.
Album is mad
Thank
tight.
God.
Big Dog record pool got that. Flex's record pool is hot.
Thank God.
About you, man, like, you know.
We seen you a few years ago.
This is.
I remember a time.
How to have better.
This is the old. The cologne ended. I don't even want the type.
Have you ever wanted to?
I put on a roll.
Donald Trump.
Sit in the middle.
This out first row. This is my.
Big of me. Aí sim, paizão. Que é isso? Pega, man. Aí sim, paizão.
This is my scalp.
How much?
They go now 3 abreast, 360 kilometers an hour. Alex Marquez has the inside line, putting it through the Ivanil. There goes Mark. Instant movement between Bagnaia and Alex Marquez. This is a throw back to Marquez, Petrucci, and Davizioso in the Italian Grand Prix. Isn't it 5-6 years ago? Unbelievable actually at the front. Alex it is that leads out of turn 3. Marquez then the 73 version of leads this sprint. They go now 3 abreast.
There we go.
A prayer for.
Okay, y'all. This is an A4.
I love this Stoner corner. It's so yeah, exactly. Look at that.
Which car passes but
I'm gonna break it in. She was a fan.
Your mama.
Sub-Zero wins.
This Lamborghini got embarrassed when a Mustang pulled up because
If someone shot at you, she's never doing this again.
Round. Round 3, fight. Flawless victory.
One. Fight. Avec vous, Tiger. Avec Tiger. Tiger. Avec vous, Tiger. Avec Tiger. Tiger. Avec vous, Tiger. Avec vous. Avec Tiger. Tiger uppercut. Tiger. Tiger. Avec vous, Tiger. Avec vous, Tiger. Avec vous, Tiger. Avec vous.
I put in $20.
Watching him.
Your pipe and smoke it.
Girls. Ice through it and onto the front row of the grid by the time qualifying 2 is completed. Ralph Fernandez here was the rider who did that in Blue round 1 of the season. Of course, when we were having the same conversations about Ralph Fernandez's ability to get a single lap out of a soft rear tyre, he
Takes to have the high-speed change direction. It's just in those transitions where Aldeguer will be the muscle mass he's been able to retain with the right leg. He went with that left thing he broke on the Iron Goyen yet last weekend.
Want to upgrade your car without...
No. 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 What? No way. Oh no, he's missing. That's his ship. He's gonna miss his ship. Oh no. It's leaving. Oh no, it's already leaving. Oh, I feel so bad. That's his ship. Oh my goodness. What did you drop? No. Bro. No way. What? Oh my goodness, you seeing this? You see this? That's horrible. That's terrible. What's this shit? I feel so bad. Oh, it's this shit. No way. Oh my goodness. Bro, come on, you should not. No.
That's a good one.
No. No. What? No way. Oh no, he's missing. That's his ship. He's gonna. He's missing. That's his ship. He's gonna miss his ship. Oh no. It's leaving. Oh no, it's already leaving. Oh, I feel so bad. That's his ship. Oh my goodness. What did you drop? No. Bro. No way. What? Oh my goodness, you seeing this? You see this? That's horrible. That's terrible. What's this shit? I feel so bad. Oh, it's this shit. No way. Oh my goodness. Bro, come on, you should know. No. No. What? No way. Oh no, he's missing. That's his ship. He's gonna miss his ship. Oh no. It's leaving. Oh no, it's already leaving. Oh, I feel so bad. That's his ship. Oh my goodness. What did you drop? No. Bro. No way. What? Oh my goodness, you seeing this? You see this? That's horrible. That's terrible. What's this shit? I feel so bad. Oh, it's this shit. No way. Oh my goodness. Bro, come on, you should know. What?
The plan.
Excellent.
Bluetooth pairing. Bluetooth connected. Bluetooth pairing. Bluetooth connected.
Three reasons guy. Realway has you covered.
Vladimir, stop! Stop it! Will you stop? Will you stop? Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Vladimir. Hello, Donald. You listen to me, Vladimir. If you don't end the war in Ukraine, I'm going to put sanctions on you.
No, you won't.
You're right, I won't. But I will give you tons of money instead. What are you, Qatar now?
I don't want tons of money.
But what do you want?
I want Ukraine.
But I'll give you money.
Does this money come with Ukraine?
No.
Well, then no.
You know, not everything is about money.
Ukraine.
Money.
Ukraine.
Craig, got me again. Listen, JD and I are getting a little fed up with this charade. If you don't do what we want, we are prepared to very strongly abandon Ukraine and drop the whole thing. Is that what you want? Yes. Well, then you wait. What?
I met this trans woman.
Let's kick things off with home.
All right, sir. All right, sir. This order would reduce the number of interracial couples in TV commercials.
It's just too many, right? You see them in the kitchen together making meal from HelloFresh. He's wearing loafers, she's got tight braids. You're like, where'd they meet? You know?